Oddsbreaker, ladies and gentlemen, your one-stop source for all interviews with fighters getting ready to fight. Kurt Holobaugh is getting ready to fight Steven Siler in the UFC coming up here relatively quickly. This is your UFC debut, correct, Kurt?
Yes.
All right, and got to ask all the new guys because when I first fought in the UFC back in UFC 45, the pressure wasn't the same as it is now. The media scrum isn't the same as it is now. How's the added pressure from coming over from Strikeforce in the UFC been treating you?
Well, I really hadn't felt anything yet, but I'm hoping it's not going to be too much different from Strikeforce because, just going to Strikeforce from where I was a big step. I know UFC is going to be bigger, but I'm just trying to block that out and just trying to look at it as just another fight and just a big opportunity for me.
All right, do me a favor because I know you watch tape. Lex McMahon kind of broke it down to me a little bit about how you view fights. So I want to know, how do you break down Steven Siler? How do you see him as a fighter? What do you think he's going to do or try to do to you?
Well, I think he's going to try to, we're going to both try to keep it standing, I believe, for the most part. But I believe that he will wind up trying to shoot once he sees the pace and the speed that I'm going to try to bring to him. And, I think I'm just going to knock him off of his game. I think we're both kind of the same, similar fighters. So I think it's going to be whoever can change up a little bit from their game and, implement it.
You're 9-1. You're on a 9-fight win streak, working on a 10-fight win streak. You lost your last fight to Pat Healy. That was a decision, correct? 3-round decision?
Right, 3 rounds.
What happened in that fight that made the judges go the other way?
Well, I was too comfortable off my back, I am, naturally, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy that, likes to stand up. But, Pat Healy, he's a tough, strong, heavy guy, So, have him laying on you for, 2.5 rounds, 3 rounds, it's not an easy fight to win, especially if you're on your back the whole time. And, I think that's what lost me that fight, just too comfortable on my back. Just in my head, I really believed I can submit, get the submission by the end of the fight, and it didn't work out that way.
Well, Pat Healy's getting ready to fight Jim Miller on the same card, so you're going to see Pat. How do you think Pat's going to do against Jim?
Man, I'm hoping he does well. I mean, Jim Miller's a tough dude, man. That dude's definitely top lightweight in the world, and I'm a pull for Pat, because that's definitely going to make me look better if he wins. So, and it's going to make me feel better too. So, I'm a pull for Pat.
There's always a silver lining to every loss. You hopefully that the guy you lose to ends up being the champ and ends up moving on to be the champ and makes you look so much better when he comes through. So, I completely understand that. Who's going to corner you for this fight?
I got my professor and black belt, Rafael Ellwanger. He's a black belt under Carlos Gracie Jr. And I got my corner man and training partner, Scott Smith and Anthony Donzi, 2 purple belts in jiu-jitsu.
Who are some of the guys that you train with?
Well, I haven't really trained a lot with some of these guys, but, I'm going to start a lot more since the level that I'm on now is, we got Rich Clemente down here. Alan Belcher is only an hour and a half drive away. He offered me to come train with him for this fight, but I have trained with Rich a little bit, some of Rich's guys, and I did a little bit of sparring with Kyle Bradley down here also. He's still active, and as of right now, those are the guys that I'm looking to start training with. I hadn't trained as much as I would have liked to, because I didn't have all the time in the world, even though this wasn't a fight on 2 weeks. It still didn't give me a whole bunch of time to set up training camp, so I just kind of had to go with it.
How much time did you have?
With what I had.
How much time did you get? How much time did you get?
About 5 weeks.
Okay, what do you prefer to have?
I mean, just a normal, 6, 7 week, 8 week camp. That way, I can go ahead and do what I have to do, make my arrangements. If I want to train out of state or with another team for a while. I just didn't have a lot of time or money to go that route this fight.
That makes sense.
But I feel comfortable. I feel good. I felt that, I took the last month off work, first time I've ever done that, and just put, a lot of 2-a-days, 3-a-days in at the gym, and I got to say I feel the best that I've ever felt, way better than what I felt when I fought Pat.
It seems like that the UFC, to a lot of the Strikeforce guys, other than Pat Healy, who's got a, so I'm looking at my notes here, he's at 29-16. is his overall record. You're 9-1. But it seems like everyone from Strikeforce fighting the UFC for the first time is battling against somebody with a really, really experienced record compared to their own. You've only got 10 total fights. Steven Siler has 31 total fights. Does it seem like the UFC is really trying to find where you belong, or do you think they're trying to make a bigger push on you a little bit too quick? Because that's a lot more experience. I mean, I know when you're in the UFC, experience really doesn't matter, but 10 fights to 30 fights, that's a lot more ring time.
You know, it is, but you know, I have had, like, I listened to some of Steven Siler's interviews, and he said that when he started fighting, they didn't really have amateur fights. Well, I got I got 8 amateur fights also to add with the 10 pro fights. So, but I don't really think that the UFC looks at it that way. You know, I just think that, you know, Steven Siler is a good matchup. And on paper, I think it's a great matchup. I think it's one of the fight of the night type matchups on paper. So, I don't really think the record's really getting away too much of it.
Okay. Break us out. Let us know. I just want to know what, like, a normal day of training for you is when you, like, a normal Thursday. What do you do on a normal Thursday? Not this week, obviously, because everything's tapered off, but, you know, during training camp, what do you do?
Well, a normal Thursday is one of my MMA days. You know, I wake up, especially when I'm not working, I get to do this, and it's, man, way better than working.
Hold on. You know, you're still working full-time on top of training full-time?
Yeah, I was. Hopefully not after this fight, but...
wow. What were you doing? What was your work?
Alarm technician. I install fire alarms and cameras. Been doing alarms for 9 years, 10 years.
Wow. So everyone at home thinks that, you know, when you're in the UFC and you're a professional fighter, it's all you do. They don't realize still to make ends meet, you still got to work a full-time job.
Nobody really realizes that, you know, nobody really realizes that, you know, a lot of guys carry full-time jobs even when they're in the UFC for a while. So, you know, you really got, in order not to work full-time, you really got to be running a gym, making some money doing that, or, you know, doing something else.
Okay, so let's get back into it. Thursday, you're not working. What do you do?
You know, I'll wake up, start with my breakfast, hopefully get to the gym for a morning training session. After that, eat a little bit of lunch, go home and rest, and come back for MMA class that night, and then spend the rest of the time with my kids.
Oh, how many kids you got?
3.
Ages?
4, 2, and 4 months.
Oh, wow, newborn. How's the sleep pattern? Yours,
not
not
that
theirs.
bad. She's a real good baby. She's not that bad.
Okay. Because a lot of guys, like Mac Danzig, when he first had Nova, it was difficult. Martin Kampman, when he had his first child, it was very difficult. Mike Powell's about to have one as well, and they're worrying about being in training camp and the baby being in the house. But you're amazed that once you become a parent, how easy it is to deal with crying babies in the background. When it's time to sleep, it's time to sleep. You'll figure it out. So.
Yeah.
What are you going to wake up at on Friday? It's weigh-in day. You just got out of bed. You go check your weight. What do you want to see on the scale?
Oh, man. At least within 5 pounds, you know.
Okay.
I like to do an easy 5 pounds a day of weigh-ins. If I can help it, you know, I might take an Epsom salt bath the night before. Mm-hmm. And that way I can drink a little bit, you know, so I ain't totally dead the night before.
Right.
And wake up within 5 pounds is mainly what I like to do.
Okay. All right. That sounds good enough to me. I'm one of those guys, too, likes to be within 5, 6, no more than 8. If I hit 10, I can still make weight, but it's difficult. But I definitely like to keep it, you know, 8 pounds or less. Definitely closer to 6 is better, so I don't have to do too much to work out to get the weight off. Yeah. But I definitely want to be close, too. So I like a lot of the new guys, and I consider you one of the new guys. And I know you've had 10 fights, been around for a while, but I still consider you one of the new guys. I like the new guys that are going long. A lot of guys that were like the middle zone would make weight Thursday night and hold it to weigh-ins on Friday. And I was that's too.
I've done that too.
Oh, that's too hard on the body. I don't know how you guys do that.
But it's hard, man.
Yeah, it's too much suffering. I try to. If we have to make weight at 4 o'clock, I know I'm gonna be on that scale about 420. I'm making weight at 4 o'clock, and I'm gonna get on that scale at 420, and at 4:30, I'm 10 pounds over. Like that's just bring it down, bring it up. So. Well, Kurt, thanks for coming on here, and I appreciate Lex and Alchemist for getting you on here with me. I know it was a little bit difficult for me because of our schedules to get it worked out, but I really appreciate you taking some time to talk to me, especially on a Monday, the week before the fight. Like I know it's going to be tough. And correct me if I'm wrong. You start the night off, right? You're the first fight of the night.
Yeah. I'm gonna start it off with a bang, man.
That's a Facebook card. You get to watch Kurt Holobaugh versus Steven Siler, it's gonna be a great fight to start off the card. Unfortunately, you have to work the same way that the card last weekend started, where it was great from top to bottom. You got a little extra pressure on it from the fans, because now we're expecting that now from everybody. And thank God, it's two good guys know how to bang. And if something happens, you get to the ground. From what I've seen, your ground game against Pat Healy was a lay there and kind of decide what I'm going to do. But normally your ground game is very active. You have a very active guard.
Right.
You're very pressuring. Hopefully we get to see more of that, so even if it goes to the ground, the fans at home that don't understand jiu-jitsu, which is the majority of us, actually get to see what it's really like to be in an MMA fight with a guy that knows.